He didn't talk about Twin Sun speed runs.
And we won't be. Drop timings for the week, once again, just drop as soon as possible. No global timings to worry about. He's sitting right in the center of the arena. So whenever you're ready, drop on in. The sooner, the better.
It's the same thing I did. Just pop your potions and start your run.
Builds for the week. The build that I was using was 6 Catalyst, 6 Cunning, 6 Overpower, 6 Predator, 6 Rage, 3 Berserker, and 3 Discipline. This build is running Reza Strikers, and this I think is pretty much as much damage as you can possibly fit into a build. It's got everything you need. No inclusion of Rage Hunter. With the change to Rage Hunter has really reduced its effectiveness. You're pretty much killing the behemoth before they even get a chance to enrage. Fight's already over halfway over, so Rage Hunter just is not worth it this fight. And you have pretty much every other damage cell in this build. The one thing you could do with this build is do like Wild Frenzy instead of Berserker, or instead of 6 Cunning. That give it a little bit more consistency. But I think this build right here is the maximum amount of damage you can possibly do and will produce the fastest runs possible.
With Reza Strikers, you're farming for crits anyway, so you might as well fight the RNG with RNG and use Cunning.
Yeah, just double down. Lanterns for the week, I think it's a pretty easy choice of Pangar. The slow to keep him in overpower longer, the health damage that gets included with Aether Drive Tonic and Catalyst. It's just too good to pass up this week once again. No other reason to use any other lantern. And then potions is once again Aether Drive, Blitz, and Frenzy. They're just way too good to pass up. I know we talked about using the stagger potion, which I think is actually probably a pretty good idea if you're just going for like just a top 100 or even a sub 3. The fact that you can easily and consistently get the second stagger is pretty important, but definitely for a top time, you're going to want to be using the Aether Drive Tonic.
Tried some runs with the Stagger Tonic, and I consistently got in between a minute and 5 seconds. So if that's still good for a board time at the end of the week, I would definitely recommend it.
I would hope those times stick. Viable weapons for the week. I think it's a week where every single weapon is viable for sub 3s, but I think actually very few weapons are viable for top 100. So going down the list, Aether Strikers is of course the best weapon, top 100 viable and sub 3 viable. If you're looking for a top 100 run, this is the weapon I would use 100%. Hammer, I think it's definitely viable of a sub 3 and possibly a top 100. They are, I think, super good this week, especially in groups. Being able to guarantee those staggers, being able to buff up your other striker friends with the damage buff. It's definitely very nice to have that hammer on your group, but I think it's also very strong in solos, how much time Nayzaga stays on the ground.
I think hammer would do really well in solos, as long as you're a competent hammer player.
I think the biggest downside to hammers this week is actually the fact that Reza Hammer has a mobility slot on it. Sword this week, I think will do okay. Sword's definitely going to be sub 3 viable. Probably not top 100 viable unless you're just a god with it. I don't think Nayzaga is just up and attacking enough for you to get use out of counterattacks and really benefit from the advantages that Sword gives you.
Yeah, so you really need the behemoth up and attacking so you can parry and get your damage in. It's going to be hard with him on the ground the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. And Chainblade is in the same category. Chainblade wants a behemoth up and attacking, and that's just not this fight. So Chainblade is going to be sub 3 viable, but not top 100 viable, I don't think. Pike, I think, is really going to suffer this week with the wonky hitboxes. And so I think it's probably sub 3 viable, but definitely not top 100 viable. It's going to be really rough trying to get wounds off on these hitboxes and then continually hitting those wounded parts, which is Pike's entire kit.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend Pike at all for this week, or Axe, honestly.
Yeah, Axe is going to be rough this fight. I think it can still do a sub 3, but definitely not a top 100. Just like any other weak Axe, just doesn't ramp up its damage quick enough for top 100s. and this week is no different.
Attack's so slow you can't get your damage in while the behemoth is on the ground staggered. You can't get much damage in.
Repeaters, I think, will definitely do okay this week. They can get a sub 3, but I don't think they do enough base damage to get a top 100 this week with how fast the runs are going. So that pretty much just means I think Aether Strikers and Hammer is your go-to if you're wanting a top 100. I think everything else is going to really struggle to get a top 100, but for anything for sub 3, I think you're okay rocking any weapon you feel confident with. Mistakes in your run. In my run in particular, I think I played pretty darn well. The one thing I really wanted to improve on is the very last clap that I'm getting off. I am actually going into the animation to clap, and he slides into me, interrupting my animation and damaging me. I'm luckily able to turn it around and clap him as he's running away to get the finishing blow on him. But if I was able to get that little bit of extra time to clap him, I think I could have easily finished with a second, 2 seconds faster on my run. Other than that though, I think my run is really nice. Really solid play.
Well, I was really happy with my run this week. I really wanted that sub 1, and I finally got it. I wouldn't say there were too many mistakes in my run. I think it's just a matter of if I want a better time, I really have to be persistent and grind for it. Just not getting too many crits or too many Resi UEs, and feel like if I want to improve, I need to just keep grinding. Keep my head up.
Yeah, for top 100s this week, it's not too technically difficult. It's just that you need to get the RNG to be able to kill him quick enough.
It's a trial of your patience more than anything.
Yes, exactly. Let's go into strategy inside the arena. So the strategy this week is very well set out before you actually even jump in. You're going to be looking to land 2 interrupts, a stagger, and a part break for your downtimes. And the fight's going to look like this. You're going to land, you're going to want to get your mantras up and turn him around. And before he starts sliding, you're going to want to get away so you can interrupt him as soon as he starts sliding into you. Once you land that interrupt, it's just working through your damage combos. He's going to wake up from this interrupt, go into a single attack, and you should have had enough damage after that single attack to stagger him. This is completely RNG based, whether or not you had enough damage and whether or not you hit his head enough times to stagger him here. After he's waking up from the stagger, he's going to go into his enrage, at which point you're going to want to refresh your mantras and get ready for another interrupt, as he's going to go right into another interrupt attack coming right out of enrage. On this second interrupt is where you're looking to kill him. As he's waking up, he should get a part break on his head and then die. That is the ideal run, but I think a top 100 run could have another interrupt right after that part break as well, as he's going to want to slide right after the part break as well. If you're looking for top 100, just go for that interrupt as well, and you should be able to kill him pretty easily. How to boop without trading.
After you got your mantras and surged out, that if you weren't completely square to the behemoth, you had if you were rotated any bit to the side or off to the side that I would trade. Also found myself just starting my combo a little bit late. When I did it just a fraction of a second earlier, I ended up not trading really ever again.
Yeah, I agree. Squaring off with the behemoth is super important so that you get the maximum amount of striking distance, and then timing is also very important. And I think the timing for the boop is earlier than people think. I would err on the side of caution and do it too early than too late.
I think it's a little bit earlier, but it's really consistent. Once you get the timing, I feel like you really trade anymore.
One thing I would like to mention is the camera reset button is very useful this fight. When he's going into his portal for the second boop, you can spam that camera reset button and it will tell you exactly where he will be coming out of before his portal even appears. And so whenever he's going into his portal, I just keep spamming that button and it just lines it up perfectly for me. The camera reset button, by the way, is T for keyboards, and I believe it is either left or right joystick in for consoles.
Yeah, it's left joystick for console.
For top 100 group times, you pretty much play exactly like solo. Run up to him, get your mantras, and turn him around and interrupt him. And then it's just full send on his head. Everybody focuses his head as much as possible. All right, I think let's just go into top 100 runs. So top time right now for solos is Deep Blue with a 51-second run. And this run to me seems beatable with like God RNG. Possible. The fastest time could be like a 47. I don't think anybody's going to get this. I think the most attainable is like a 50, 49, maybe maximum. I could possibly see somebody get. I would be fairly confident Deep Blue keeping this as number one.
Definitely think it's possible to be beaten, but I don't think it will be.
I agree with that a lot. Top 5 right now is 54 seconds. I think top 5 is definitely going to go down to like 53, 52 seconds, something like that.
I'm going to say 53 for top 5, but that's because I think just maybe one more person will get in there.
Top 100 solos right now is 108. I can definitely foresee this going down to a minute. I don't think we're going to reach sub 1 minute, but I think we're definitely going to get down to a minute.
I'm going to say like a minute and 4 seconds, just based on my runs.
Minute 4 is starting at 78 and it ends at 85.
Where's a minute and 3 at?
Minute 3 ends at 77 and goes up to 69.
Oh man, what about a minute and 2?
Ends at 68 and starts at 56.
All right, well, I would say that you're gonna need a 101 to get top 100.
Okay, I would agree with that more.
I didn't realize it was that too close at the bottom of the board.
All right, groups right now, the top time is 28 seconds. And I think this time can 100% get beat. I want to say like a 25-second time could be the top time.
I was going to say 26.
I'd agree with that. Top 5 right now is 32 seconds. I think this is going to get pushed down to like 30 seconds.
I was going to say like 28. I think top 5 will be really close.
Top 100 for groups right now is sitting at 44 seconds. I think this is very easily going to get pushed under 40 seconds. But I don't think very much under 40. Like I'm thinking like a 39, 38, maybe something like that.
I'll say 38 for the board. Any slower than that, and he'll run away again for the second boot.
Oh, that's true. That's a good point. I think I could definitely see 38. I'd be very surprised if anything 40 seconds or above is on the boards at the end of the week. Hey guys, don't forget to leave a comment down below in case we missed anything. And if you guys like the content, think about subscribing. It really helps me out. Appreciate all the love and support you guys give me. So thank you guys so much. And I'll see you guys next week.